Hey, Stephen Buonocore, the Podfather of gaming. Guess where I am? It's a company that kinda I know pretty well, I think. You ever hear of a company called Stronghold Games? Indie boards and cards?
I've never heard of them.
No, never heard of them?
Nope. Who are they?
I'm here with Sydney Engelstein, who essentially stole my job when I left the company. I put her in charge. She's amazing. And Sydney, we've known each other for, since you were 12 years old.
Something like that.
Something like that. And now you're all grown up and stuff. And running a company.
Well,
doing lots of hard work at a company.
grown up is a strong term for someone who just plays board games all day.
Yeah, isn't it? I mean, are we any of us grown ups? Doesn't matter our age.
Of us are grown up.
But of course, besides terraforming Mars, which the Stronghold side's known for, on the indie side, one of the biggest things they're known for is the Aeons End line. And it's killing it. I mean, it's killing it. You guys are just doing such great work and adding new content for it constantly. Right here at the show, why don't we talk about Aeons End Legacy of Bravehold?
So Aeons End Legacy of Bravehold is the newest expansion that just came out. The Kickstarter just fulfilled and it's coming into retail. So having it here at Origins is one of the first time people who didn't back the Kickstarter are getting to see it. So it's really brand new.
Is this an expansion, standalone?
It is a standalone expansion,
okay.
Just like all the previous waves of Aeons End, but this one is more ambitious than any other Aeons End project has ever been.
Really?
It is packed with twice the content of a normal Aeons End box for only, $20 or so more.
And I'm going to say it's twice the size of a normal Aeon End box.
It is also twice the size.
It literally
of a
is.
normal
Wow. That is really cool.
It is another Aeons End Legacy box, just like the original Aeons End Legacy, where you made your own mages from the ground up. In this one, instead of creating your mages with the legacy elements, it actually comes with pre-designed mages, just like every other Aeons End box that have their own unique gimmicks and unique starter cards that make all of them have really interesting and different strategies. And then after every battle, you gain experience that you can use to add more stickers to their starting crystals, their starting sparks, their starting breaches, their mats. You can have stickers that impact the whole group that are passive static effects. So there's a ton of different customization options for how to change up your character over the course of the game.
I mean, I just love the fact that, you've basically added in more legacy stuff, but just simply more content for this ongoing, really excellent deck building cooperative game.
Yeah.
You've got something here that's very different than other people's deck building games, other people's cooperative games. Legacy involved, it's really well done, all of Aeons End.
Well, Aeons End has always been really different than every other deck builder because its skill cap and strategic elements are so high. Because of the fact that you don't actually ever shuffle your deck, you get to decide the order in which your cards are discarded, and then when you run out of cards to draw, you flip your discard pile over, so you can see ahead of time the combos that are happening, which means when we come to boxes like Legacy of Bravehold that are really aimed at those skilled Aeons End players, people who understand the strategy and want to dig into the meat of this very complex game, we give them so many opportunities with cards that, if you line them up correctly, can gain stickers to make them stronger for later battles, or cards that impact how well you're doing on the map, which unlocks further cards for you. One of the things we also really wanted to do that we learned from the original Legacy, Aeons End Legacy 3 years ago, is that people loved the fact that it came with a story, but they felt like they weren't actually impacting the story in any meaningful way. They just kind of played a game, read a bit of story, played a game, read a bit of story.
Right.
Legacy of Bravehold blows that out of the water with a branching narrative that, depending on the decisions you make in it, can change even what nemesis you fight. So in that box there are 13 nemesis. You won't be able to see all of them in one playthrough of the game because there is that much emphasis put on the decisions you make and how well you do in every game for what you unlock over the course of it.
A branching narrative. I love that term. I'm going to be using that. I'm going to trademark that term so they're going to have to pay me money later on. I love it. This is fantastic. I really love the fact that it's an ongoing system that you guys are supporting and it's continuing to do well. A true super evergreen for the company.
And then, of course, since it is the 6th standalone expansion in the Aeons End universe if you finish the Legacy, or if you're not a fan of Legacy, if you say, I don't care about all that sticker nonsense, it is still balanced to be integrated with all the rest of the Aeons End content.
Awesome.
90% of the content in that box can be integrated. There's only a few cards that are Legacy only and 1 or 2 bosses that are Legacy only. But you get the 22 mages, 11 nemesis, a whole ton of new market cards. So it really does pump up your collection, and it's not one of those Legacy games that you finish and then you just have to put on the shelf because you finished it.
That is just awesome. But let's branch in. Let's do a narrative branch into what's going on right now on Kickstarter in the Aeons End universe. You got it going on right now.
Yeah.
So what is it?
So just this Tuesday, we launched the next Aeons End Kickstarter. It's called Aeons End Past and Future. And speaking of branching storylines, it has 2 separate stories that are contained within the box. One that takes place in the distant, distant past of the Aeons End universe before the first Aeons End box takes place, and one that takes place in the future way after the events of Legacy of Bravehold. And these 2 storylines are interconnected in order to teach people a lot about the world and the universe that Aeons End takes place in. But if you're not interested in story, as I said before, it comes with a ton of integratable content into the rest of your Aeons End games. It's our first non-standalone, which means returning players won't have all those bits that they have, 6 of from the previous waves. They don't need all those tokens, all those filler cards, the rule book that just teaches the same thing over and over. And we've really trimmed it down to just new content because we have such a strong fan base.
That is fantastic.
And I think they'll be very excited about the brand new mechanics we're introducing, which heighten the cooperation aspect and the teamwork aspect, and just give a whole new depth of strategy to your Aeons End experience that will completely revolutionize your collection, even if you have all the ones before this.
That just sounds amazing. And this is right now on Kickstarter.
Right now on Kickstarter.
You can go to Kickstarter, excuse me, Aeons End.
Past and Future.
Past and Future, and go check it out and back it there. Meanwhile, come over here to the Indie Game Studios. That's Stronghold Games and Indie Boards and Cards, booth
112.
1012.
112.
112, let's get that right. All the way, as soon as you get the first door, come over here, check out all the stuff they're doing over here. Legacy of Bravehold. They're showing off Terraforming Mars, Aeons End, no, Ares Expedition. I am so good at this, aren't I? I'm a mega professional. They're also showing off Quest, which is in the line of
Avalon. And we're also showing off the Sherlock Files, some of our standalone mystery games for anyone who really likes a good mystery game. It's the best one you'll ever play.
A broad line of things going on here. Sydney, thank you so much.
Thanks for stopping by.
This is great. I'm Stephen Buonocore, the Podfather of Gaming for Origins TV. We'll see you next time.